People have wondered for ages if we're the only life in the universe. We've spent centuries thinking about aliens, looking at stars, and guessing if living things exist on other planets. Now, it seems that idea might be true. The head of NASA just announced that the James Webb Space Telescope, which is our coolest tool for space research, spotted something amazing. Get ready for some big news coming from way out there in our galaxy. They found life on a planet called Proxima B. This could totally change what we thought we knew. Let's check out what the Webb telescope found and what it might mean for us and for space trips in the future. The James Webb Space Telescope is an awesome piece of tech that could seriously reshape how we see the universe. It's got the best equipment, and it's in the perfect spot to let scientists check out faraway stars, galaxies, and planets in a way we've never been able to before. It might sound like a lot, but this telescope can actually deliver on its promises. One of the coolest things about it is its huge 6.5-meter mirror. That's way bigger than the Hubble Space Telescope's mirror, which has been super important for looking at space for the last 30 years. Because the Webb's mirror is so big, it can see even the dimmest light from the most hidden spots in the universe. It can go where other telescopes just can't. Thanks to how sensitive the Webb is, scientists can now see crazy cosmic events in super clear detail instead of just guessing what they might be. But it's not just the giant mirror. The Webb also has a bunch of amazing tools that can pick up all kinds of light. One of them is the near-infrared camera, or NIRCam, which takes pictures using infrared light. Infrared can get through dust clouds that block regular light, which lets astronomers see deeper into space. NIRCam has really high resolution, so it can see stars being born inside galaxies that are nearby. The point of these pictures is to study where the universe came from, its first light, how galaxies are born and change, and to find and study planets outside our solar system that we couldn't reach before. Gear like NIRCam helps us learn a lot about how the universe is put together. It shows us how galaxies form and change over huge amounts of time, which helps us understand the forces at work in space. Another must-have tool on the Webb is the near-infrared spectrograph, or NIRSpec. It breaks down light from faraway objects into different wavelengths. This is called spectroscopy, and it gives us key info about things like temperature, movement, and what stuff is made of. NIRSpec lets scientists look at stars and galaxies in detail by checking out lines in their spectra. This tells them what chemicals are there and how things are reacting. It also helps them figure out how stars and galaxies live their lives, from when they're born to when they die. One of the main things the Webb is supposed to do is look at faraway galaxies whose light has taken billions of years to get to us. By checking out their spectra, astronomers can figure out how old they are, what they're made of, and other important things. This helps them figure out where they came from. The mid-infrared instrument, or MIRI, can see longer infrared wavelengths. This helps study things like stars, planetary systems, and dusty areas where new stars are forming. MIRI also lets astronomers look at the atmospheres of planets outside our solar system. This gives us important info about what they're made of, how warm they are, and if they might be able to support life. Star-forming regions are really cool. They're thick clouds of dust and gas that block regular light but let infrared through. MIRI lets researchers see stars and planetary systems being born, and it helps them study what's happening inside these cosmic nurseries. MIRI is also important for finding exoplanets. It can pick up and test tiny infrared signals from their atmospheres, giving us important data about their situations, like if there's water vapor, carbon dioxide, or other stuff that might be linked to life. When hunting for signs of life on exoplanets, the Webb's telescope depends mainly on two plans, spectroscopy and looking at atmospheres. These methods are key even if a planet doesn't have obvious signs of life like plants or oxygen, because those things aren't always necessaries. Spectroscopy helps to analyze exoplanet atmospheres and understand how an object takes in or gives off light. The transit of a planet happens when an exoplanet passes in front of its star. The starlight that filters through the atmospheres can be assessed using Webb. It leaves clues for scientists to analyze and identify present molecules. Webb has two instruments it uses mostly, MIRI and NIRSpec. They cover a wide range and are able to give an overall analysis. Clues about its chemical structure travels with the filtered starlight through an exoplanet's atmosphere during transit. Webb analyzes these clues for molecules that may show life or good conditions. By figuring out these clues, scientists can then come up with models that help paint a better picture of the climate and atmosphere of the planets. Webb has major objectives, and one is to find biomarkers like water vapor, methane, and oxygen, all things linked to life. However, further observations are required to assess the planet and signs of biological activity. A great technique is comparative indicator spectroscopy, which helps Webb's effort by comparing spectral files from worlds. Scientists can therefore draw conclusions regarding the options for life outside of Earth. How do you feel about these great improvements? Leave a comment below and let us know. Webb's ability to find biological things in exoplanet atmospheres is a big step in finding life outside of Earth. It has the power to check out planets with a much precision. The more research is made, the more insight has led scientists to believe more in life on other planets. It gives the capacity to look back while exploring the distance. With these photons of galaxies, we have a new way to study the evolution of space. These expeditions shows major knowledge on the planets, stars, and galaxies. James Webb Space Telescope is helping give a major role in enriching our universal knowledge. It will assist how we establish timelines and structures. With every discovery, there are challenges that are pushing our goals. Looking ahead, Webb will for sure become the essentials for exploring deep. The discoveries will soon come. Not only does it change thoughts on our cosmic knowledge, but also research. As we continue our search for life, James Webb will pave the way forward. James Webb Space Telescope has begun our new research with space. We will uncover mysteries for years to come. Webb has the capability to study new galaxies. It's historic on how long we've been deciphering the universe. With all these instruments and matched capabilities, Webb will soon change space discoveries. Perhaps the most cool piece of James Webb Space Telescope is to review alien atmospheres, allowing us to identify molecules like water. Webb now makes it possible. It is also a tool to evaluate the worlds that might support life. It gives us a chance to compare it with Earth. With the help of detailed spectroscopy, the telescope creates comprehensive reports of those worlds. IT also opens new avenues for new lands. The telescope finds new cosmics such as birth stars and systems. With infrared, it is able to peer through anything. With new instruments, it is to unravel our new mysteries. Besides the big mirror, the Webb has a bunch of other tech that can see all sorts of light. For example, there's the near-infrared camera, NIRCam. It takes pictures using near-infrared light, which can go through dust clouds that block regular light. This lets us see farther into space. With its sharp pictures, NIRCam can spot stars being born in galaxies up close. The goal of these images is to study where the universe came from, the first light, how galaxies grow, and to find and learn about planets we couldn't reach before. Stuff like NIRCam gives us cool details about how the universe is put together, showing how galaxies grow, which helps us understand what's happening in space. Another important part of Webb is the near-infrared spectrograph, NIRSpec. It does something important. It splits light from faraway things into different colors. This is called spectroscopy. It gives us awesome info about how hot something is, how it's moving, and what it's made of. NIRSpec lets scientists look at stars and galaxies closely by looking at the lines in their light to see what stuff they're made of and how they interact. It also helps us figure out how stars and galaxies live their lives, how they're born, grow, and die. One of the big things Webb wants to do is check out faraway galaxies whose light has taken billions of years to reach us. By looking at their light, scientists can tell how old they are, what they're made of, and other key stuff. This helps us understand where they came from. The mid-infrared instrument, MIRI, is another key part that lets us see longer infrared light waves. It helps us study things like stars, planets, and dusty areas where stars are born. MIRI also lets scientists check out the air around planets, giving us good info about what's in them, how hot they are, and if life could exist there. Star birth areas are super cool. These thick clouds of dust and gas block regular light, but infrared light can get through. With MIRI, scientists can watch stars and planets being born and see what's happening in these space nurseries. MRI is also important for finding planets. It can see and study the tiny infrared light from their air, which tells us stuff about them, like if there's water, carbon dioxide, or other things that might mean life. When looking for signs of life on planets, the Webb telescope mainly uses two things: spectroscopy and checking out the air. Even if a planet doesn't have obvious things like plants or oxygen, which aren't totally needed to find life, these ways are still important. Spectroscopy, which is studying how something absorbs or sends out light, is important for studying the air around planets. When a planet passes in front of its star, Webb can watch starlight going through the planet's air. This leaves tiny chemical signs that we can use to tell what molecules are there. Webb has two main tools for this: MIRI, which focuses on mid-infrared light, and NIRSpec, which focuses on near-infrared. Together, these tools cover a wide range of light needed for a good study. During this passing, starlight that goes through the air around a planet gives clues about what chemicals are there. Webb reads these clues to find molecules that might mean life or good conditions. By finding certain light signs, scientists can make models to better understand the planet's weather and air. One big goal of Webb is to find biomarkers, which are chemicals connected to life, like oxygen, methane, and water. But finding these molecules is just the start. We need to watch more to see if the planet is good for life and if there are signs of living things. Another way is comparative indicator spectroscopy, which helps Webb find life by comparing light info from different worlds. With these comparisons, scientists can come to good conclusions about the chance of life beyond Earth. What do you think about these cool new things? Share your thoughts below. And if you like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Webb's ability to find signs of living things in the air around planets is a big step in finding life outside of Earth. It's set up in a way that lets it study faraway worlds with great detail. As scientists keep studying the info it sends back, they are getting new ideas about if life could be on other planets. Webb's power to see the farthest parts of the universe lets us look back in time and see how it was in the early days. By collecting light from galaxies that were made billions of years ago, it gives us a rare chance to study how space has changed. These trips give us good info about how stars, planets, and galaxies were formed and all the complicated stuff that made space the way we know it today. Besides finding life, the James Webb Space Telescope also plays an important role in making our space knowledge better. It can get super clear pictures of faraway galaxies, stars, and space things, which helps scientists put together the story of the universe. With every big thing it finds, the telescope makes us rethink what we know, pushing the limits of space study and helping us understand what's beyond Earth. Looking ahead, Webb will keep being a key tool for studying the unknown. The things it finds in the future could really change not just our space awareness, but also how we travel through space and do research. As we go farther into space and keep looking for life, the James Webb Space Telescope will lead the way. James Webb Space Telescope is like a start of a new time for space study. Its ability to study faraway galaxies, find planets, and look for signs of life is a big turning point in our long try to figure out the universe. With its awesome tools and skills, Webb is ready to change space watching and find many space secrets. Maybe the coolest thing about the James Webb Space Telescope is that it can study alien airs. This lets scientists find small signs that might say there's life on faraway planets. The telescope's good tech lets us look at planet conditions with great detail by finding important molecules like oxygen, methane, and water. Webb gives us a key way to see if these worlds could support life. It does more than just watch. Webb's skills let us make good comparisons with Earth, helping scientists see if planets with similar stuff might also have life. The telescope breaks down light from faraway stars and planets with something called spectroscopy, making a good chemical picture of those worlds. This is important for seeing if a planet could have good conditions for life. It also opens ways to find good places for life in our galaxy. Also, the telescope's focus on infrared light lets it find space things we couldn't see before, like stars being born in thick dust clouds or the early stages of planets. These areas where stars and planets are made are often hidden from telescopes that use regular light. But Webb's infrared can get through this, giving us a rare look at how the universe works. With all its awesome tools, the James Webb Space Telescope is going to solve a lot of big space mysteries. It's not just about finding new planets. It wants to make our understanding of our place in the big and complicated universe better. The recent find of life on Proxima B is just the start. As scientists keep looking at Webb's finds and doing more studies, we're about to see a big story in space science. This telescope is starting a new area where the old question of "are we alone in the universe?" might finally get an answer.